bon dia. I swear that pause gets longer and longer there with the Barcelo Cockrell on the key there. But good morning to you, Carl Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show, all about the money today. And I just realised I'm delighted to be working with a colleague called Jerry Lawler, who some of you know. So I can actually say, show me the money, Jerry. He may be tuned in this morning. It's all about money. We're going to be talking to Sarah Davie in a moment from award-winning Spartan FX about currency exchange, our favoured partners in this area, and you'll find out why in just a moment. We're also talking to Fire Dave, the return of Fire Dave, live from Ireland at about 9:30, and he's going to be talking about an upcoming conference. Oh, I did have it as one of my tabs, and I think here it is, the live fire event, and that's on the 16th of September, where you can learn about retiring early and achieving financial independence. Who's not interested in that? And we'll have Fire Dave here to talk about it a little bit later on. And he'll explain the principles of the FIRE concept of financial independence and retiring early. Plus a wonderful slideshow from Coimbra and a couple from down south from Jersey P, Mr. and Mrs. P. Thank you so much for sending those in. And they're welcome from anybody. 913-590-303 is the WhatsApp for doing that. And we're so welcome you sending in your pics and even voice messages to the studio. There's the number, 913-590-303. The doc, who you see sometimes on a Wednesday, Andy the Doc Thompson, has sent in a lovely Instagram link for something he went to at Nazaré recently, vegan and veggie meals on an idyllic-looking beach there in Nazaré. So we'll show that. And, of course, Spiritual Portugal kicks off late tonight at 11 o'clock with me and Mrs. M. And busy mum, Mrs. M, may well drop in to have a quick chat about that towards the end of the show. But before we go there, let's say hello to a few people. But let's get Sarah on to help us with that. Good morning to you, Sarah. How are you?
Morning and well, thank you.
And I'm guessing, looking at your backdrop there, you are in England, in the UK at home?
Yeah, working from home still at the moment. So a bit of a mixture here. Obviously, a lot of things have relaxed, but a lot of people are still working from home at the moment.
Yes, and I'm not complaining, but it was meant to be Ben who was going to be here with me this morning. You alternate with Ben from Spartan FX, don't you? But he can't be here. Is he too tired? Has he been doing too many calls with people at 11 o'clock at night and that sort of thing?
He has, actually. That's not why he's not on this morning. But just with a few people are on holiday at the moment, trying to take a little bit of a break. I think people forget that they need that with all the lockdowns. But no, he's been taking calls all hours of the night with a lot of American customers. And actually, some of the things that he's been helping with is it's not really unusual for us to speak to the bank teller or your lawyer or notaire on your behalf, just to help make those payments go a little bit more smoothly. So we had a customer that Ben spoke to, they're in their branch, and the bank teller wasn't really sure of the international IBAN number, hadn't really seen one before, wasn't sure which part was the account number, which part was the sort code, where they needed to put it on the form. So obviously, they're asking the customer, and not everybody's going to know that. So they put Ben on the phone. Ben spoke to the teller and just talked them through that. And then even last week, a client in the UK did a WhatsApp video message from their bank to us, to Ben. Ben said that was definitely a first for him.
What, like, I'm in my bank now. Do you mind speaking to the people here? And then
really? He did say, so Ben, can I call you? And he's like, yeah, sure. Anyway, video messaging, and Ben's like, hello. And then sort of puts him up against the. So it's certainly never dull here. But yes, but we can speak to you WhatsApp, video call, Zoom, whatever method that you want, and really any time, to be honest. We don't need to work 9 to 5 because we deal with customers all over the world, and depending on your need and what you're doing, you just might want to pick up the phone. Often I think people just want to pick up the phone and just have a chat, to be honest. Which is fine. Quite happy to do that. Any questions that you have, no matter how small they are, just pick up the phone and speak to us.
And it's funny. I was laughing there because you said anytime, really, and I'm sure you had Ben in mind for those anytime. We're volunteering him in his absence this morning. Paul Richards is here. Credit where it's due. Spartan FX, great company, 100% professional. Fully recommend, and I speak from personal experience there on moving his billions around the world. Satisfied customer there in the shape of Paul Richards. And I think you have been getting some good results recently, haven't you? You've got some good American case studies. We hear lovely stories every week now in working with you about how satisfied people are in moving their currency around, which is great. Will you permit us to say hello to a few people this morning, Sarah?
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be great to speak to some people.
Good morning. Wishing everyone a fantastic day. This is how we roll. This is how we start here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Tapa de manhã para todos. I think Thunderduck Randy has been on the old Google Irish Portuguese translator there, but that works all right, didn't it? Tapa de manhã to you. Hola, bom dia, alegria a todos from Jersey P. You've got your pictures coming up in a moment. They are beautiful, especially your Coimbra pictures. And I know you've been to see Tiago Zeferino in Bergamo, which is great news as well. Hola, bom dia. Good morning, Portugal. Yes, into the fire. Did you know many people are into this, Sarah, this financial independence, retire early thing? I guess a lot of your clients might be.
No, but it does sound interesting. I think it's certainly something, clients would be interested in. It's funny because when you first said that about Fire Dave, I thought you'd come up with a new nickname for me because my surname's Davie. So for a split second, I thought I missed something there.
Sorry, that wasn't me. I wouldn't dare be so familiar. How rude would that be? And on a more serious note, terrible fire situation down in the south overnight, and we hope and pray for a speedy resolution on that down there in the south of Portugal, which came to my attention through Paul Williams earlier on in his beloved Tavira. Very difficult situation. I think 300 firefighters working on that, but it's how things are. And what I can't believe is that some people were arrested yesterday. These aren't forest fires that have started out of like an old jam job starting a brush fire or something, or however it happens naturally, kind of. But arsonists are at work in Portugal, which absolutely sickens me. But anyway, let's not go to the dark side. Stephen Wells also here. Bon dia to you, and another bon dia from Mark. Can't stop for long as work gets in the way. Don't let that happen. Come back and listen to Fire Dave, and that can stop happening. You can retire early. We'll need to catch up later, but it's not the same as live. True, there is that edginess, thinking what could possibly go wrong for Carl that we can laugh at in this particular live environment. Belo dia. Oh, a belo dia. Hoje de calor para você, Carl. So what's that? A nice hot day for me, I think, from Marcos there. Mike Campion. What's the weather like in UK at the moment, Sarah?
It's not great at all. I was speaking to someone in Spain, and they were like, "Oh, they're sweltering." I was like, "We're practically going into winter now. It's terrible, to be honest."
17th of August. 17th of August. Welcome, British winter, and that's one of the less enjoyable sides of your job, presumably, speaking to these people in far-flung and exotic and hot locations.
Yeah.
Sorry
But
about that.
No, it's nice because I just sort of have to try and close my eyes and pretend that I'm there, or.
Well, with all this money you're saving people, the least they could do is send you and Ben some tickets for you and your families or loved ones to go out and join them from time to time. And they still get some change, I've heard, from some of these bigger deals. In Maastricht, Mike and Maggie, bon dia alegria. Hope all are well. Pretty good here, Mike. Thank you. Hope you are too. Igualmente, bon dia, everyone from Jim in Baltimore. Paul Richards, your fan, Paul. Greetings from Harrogate. Well, another day in cloudy, windy Harrogate, soon to be in the sunny Algarve. However, I think it's a bit hot in Alvor at the moment. Yeah, 40-degree temperatures down there. In Scotland this morning, probably not 40 degrees. Good morning to you, Patricia. Francis Olatoros. Oh, you're a fan of Scotland, aren't you, Sarah? We spoke about
yes, I like Scotland. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Finally made it on time from a cold and rainy Cape Town. What time is it for you, Francis, over there at the moment? Good morning from what? Good morning from Antarctica. That's a first. Have you got any Antarcticans in your client list, Sarah?
I think that would be a first, definitely.
MF does look like an incredible character, beautifully dressed there with a good morning from Antarctica. And I don't know what AQ means. That's probably an emoji that got lost in translation. Hello, fella, from Garvo Gary, who I hope will join us sometime soon, maybe even tomorrow. We'll find out. He's just published another one of his beautiful videos, who I think he's too modest about. Put the link in the comments if you will, Gary. I think it should get to a wider audience. Thought it was beautiful. Hola, bon dia. It's Khadija, the rebel mama, who's not on Facebook because she's still banned. Of that, you can be proud. Should be out of jail tomorrow. Morning all from Andy. Hola, bon dia from Brixham in the UK. From Penny there. Bon dia from Matthias in Amsterdam. Can't stay. Need to. What is wrong with all these people, Sarah? Needing to work.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. Have a good one. We'll record. We'll watch the recording later. Yeah, and Paul there with his testimonial for you. You might want to cut and paste that one, Sarah. Yeah, big fire in Tavira. Shut the A22 yesterday. Good day from Sanjeev Sharma, number 9. Oh dear, and we've got one of these. Someone's spamming all the comments. Let me just dispatch that. I'll block that user and we can delete all of those. That's fantastic. Thank you for that extra work to do there. Emmanuel John Kikia. Greetings from the New Zealand. Lovely people from Mac 007. So we're getting some far-flung correspondence this morning. Which is the furthest flung country you deal with on currency exchange? The Antipodes, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I think obviously we are based in the UK, so probably sort of Australia, New Zealand, I would say. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, what we haven't done is our currency update, have we? Because I know that the Americans are taking advantage of the situation at the moment. Would you give us a few details on that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's a few trends we're seeing at the moment. So one, obviously, on the currency side of things. If you, as I said, I won't cover all currencies. So if there's anything I miss, please obviously do get in touch and we can go through them in more detail. But certainly if you're in the UK, it's still a good time for you to buy new euros. We're back to pre-COVID levels. If you're in America, for example, we are at better levels than we were back in May and June. We're still not back to 2020 levels, but as I said, the rate has moved and we're seeing a lot of Americans that are taking advantage of those rate spikes. So we regularly contact our customers and just let you know when the rates moved. Especially we're seeing a lot of people, if you're investing for sort of the golden visa, you're talking about 500,000 euros. So we're talking about large amounts of money that you might be moving. Maybe you're buying property or maybe you're just moving your savings across. So those kind of rate movements make such a difference. 4% is 20,000 euros. And also the rates are moving all the time as well. So, if we move off that high, even by 1%, that's 5,000 euros. So we're regularly in contact with our customers just to keep you up to date. We're seeing some people moving money now that they don't even have a requirement, but they definitely know that they're moving just to take advantage of those rate movements. We've touched on it before, but if you've not got all the money available, that's not a problem. We can actually fix rates for a future date. We just need a 10% deposit. It's not a cost or a charge. It just fixes the rate for you. So there's a few different options there, but ultimately just having us there watching that rate, that's sometimes where customers can see that the saving. Yes, we can save you money on the rate on the day, but are you buying at the best time? And that's, as I said, where we can often save you a little bit more money. The other thing that we're seeing at the moment is a lot of people are using this to pay for their NIF numbers, NIF numbers in Portugal. Also, we've heard as well that if you are doing the golden visa, things are going to change come December. So before you can buy in highly populated areas like Lisbon, but that might change from December, and it's going to be a little bit harder for you to buy in those highly populated areas. So we're seeing a lot of people that if you are interested in, say, Lisbon, for example, that a lot of our customers are trying to look to buy property now before December.
Very good. But you don't have a time machine, because there is this thing, isn't there, of people saying to you, like in 1976, I was able to get $2.50 for my pounds. Can you do that? You can fix rates for the future, but you can't. Much one from 1976. People are asking this. They say, "Oh, my bank was doing this. Can you do it?" I mean, it's got to be a current rate, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're comparing rates, it has to be like for like, because the rates are moving all the time. Literally, as we speak, they're moving constantly. So we do have people that say, "Oh, I've got this rate from my bank," and I say, "When did you get that?" Or, "I got it last week," or, "I got it yesterday," or even "I got it this morning," and they're speaking to us in the afternoon. The rates do move that much, and it can move very quickly as well. So the other thing that I say to people is that it's free to open an account. There's no obligation to use us, but get your account set up and then you're in a position to take advantage of any rate movements. Yes, obviously, sort of around certain things like elections and things like that, we know that they're coming, and we do see rate movements around that. I've seen it over the years where people are ringing and they're like, "Oh, I definitely want to move my money now," but they've not got an account. It doesn't take long to open, but again, if the rates are moving that quickly, you might just have lost a little bit of gain that you had there. But obviously there's things like COVID and other things that we have no control of. There's lots of data that's constantly coming out that, again, yes, we're on top of it. Yes, we look at what's forecast, but again, there's always things that go against market expectations that move the market. So again, it's just that we keep on top of that for our customers, and we just want you to be in a position so that you can take advantage of any rate movements that will save you money. The other thing as well to bear in mind is that, yes, it's great to always be watching out for a better rate of exchange. I mean, it all depends on your situation. So if you are buying a property, for example, and you have got a date by which you need to make that transfer, the other thing to bear in mind, yes, we're watching out for a better rate, but what happens if the rate moves against you? What's your budget? That's kind of the other thing that we look at as well with our customers, because if you find within your time frame the rates actually moved against you, suddenly that property's a little bit more expensive. Can you still afford it? So again, everybody's situation is different, and that's why we like to get to know what you're doing so that we can really help give that guidance that's right for you.
Brilliant. Excellent stuff. Okay, more comments. We'll take this one, won't we? You guys look stunning. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good. I did ask Sarah if I could get a similar sort of polka dot top, but I think it probably suits you better than it does me.
We can be matching.
or Fire Davie, as I now call you. Todd tells you good morning from the Netherlands. Looking forward to insightful discussions, says Sanjeev as well. Well, I hope you're getting that, Sanjeev. Let us know what you want to know, and we'll do our best to answer you. 38 degrees in the shade already, I think, in the Algarve is what Andy's reporting there. 10 a.m. in Cape Town this morning. Francis set a reminder this morning. James, bon dia from an overcast skip to North Yorks. Question, is there a pay-as-you-go Wi-Fi for a month visit, please? Sarah? Only kidding. You probably know the answer to that. Yes, there is. Yeah, there will be. I think there are contract ones and there are pay-as-you-go ones. I guess you could just get a dongle device. I've got a spare one, actually. And you could just pop a pay-as-you-go thingy inside that, SIM card based. I'm sure that's doable, James. Others may wish to add to that. There's the Fire Dave event if you want to have a bit of a preview. David Durham, this one's for you. How often do US clients try to maintain a constant bank balance in their Eurobank account of just under 10K to avoid factor? Or is factor not a big deal? That's the accounting mechanism, isn't it, for US people? So do you get US clients saying, oh, whatever you do, keep me under 10K because I don't want to be going over that threshold and paying extra taxes? Or is it not a thing?
No, we don't tend to see that massively. I mean, people send money for all sorts. Again, it depends on their situation. So, for example, people are sending a little bit across just to have money in their account. Maybe they're coming across on a trip, so they need a bit more money in there to help with that. As I said, they may be paying certain bills. Maybe they found a place to rent and they need to move extra money across. Also, we can send money directly to third parties as well. So we can send money to lawyers, notaires for your property purchase, for example. So that might, if you were concerned about that, we can pay to third parties. So obviously it avoids that being in your account. There is one thing though with the golden visa, is that when you are paying for that, it has to come from your account in Portugal in your name. So you can still use this to transfer the money to your account in Portugal, but the money has to come from that account. That is a stipulation for the golden visa. So obviously in that situation, that money has to be there in your account, regardless of this. So again, it really just depends on people's situations, what we're dealing with and what people are using for the money. We haven't massively come across that. But again, your situation might be slightly different to why some of the customers have transferred money and what their need is.
Could be a service. Can it keep under that factor threshold? And something else to be aware of there. So a good thing for US customers to be aware of there.
We can also hold money on account for customers. Mm-hmm. It's not in the same way as a bank account. You're not earning interest on it, but for convenience, we can hold money before you make an exchange or after you've made the exchange. We can hold that currency for you. Often it's for convenience if you've not yet set up a bank account, or perhaps, sometimes we've had customers, that are selling property, they've closed their bank account, and they have nowhere else to put it, so they hold it with us. So again, we offer extra flexibility and ease for customers. So maybe that might be a solution for you if you're worried about that.
Very good. So somebody needn't tear their hair out about opening a Portuguese bank account. You would hold it until they did that and then transfer it. Very good. Very good. Fiona Doherty, good morning to you. Good morning to us from her, Carl and Sarah from Scotland again there. James, always one. It took 20 minutes to get to Bitcoin this morning. Use Bitcoin. That's one of the reasons I'm coming to Portugal. Thunder Duck Randy, see you soon, mate. I track the euro/dollar ratio every day. And what is factor? So I think we're going to get to the bottom of that with the rest of the comments here. Ben's future buying got us great rates. Happy. Paul is really chuffed with your service, isn't he?
Oh, that's great to hear. Really pleased. Yeah. I'll pass that on to Ben. As I said, it's a shame he couldn't be here, but we've got a few people on holiday at the moment, so he's busy taking calls from customers any time of day. Call us.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Or call Ben.
Just call Ben. And I think it's fair to say there's probably a cold Sagresh waiting for Ben in the Algarve if you want to pass that on as well. It's the least Paul can do, isn't it? There's the link to Gary's new video and all comments, he says, and criticisms gratefully accepted. John, just I showed this before, but that's what factor is. And I can see that Americans aren't happy about it. Financial data to the US authorities, chiefly IRS, irrespective of bank balances or where they are globally, also reports transactions. Same with the CRS. Okay. I send the statements to my accountant in the US and he takes care of the paperwork. We probably need the name of that person. Somebody who is good with both Portuguese and transatlantic accountancy would be a real asset to this community for sure. And the Wi-Fi hotspot devices are cheap enough. There you go. For whoever it was who asked that earlier on, forgive me, I forgot your name there, but I hope that's of some help. Rebel Mama, I love that name. A factor is annoying. I transfer money for a home purchase, but if you're out of my account within a month, I guess I have to report it. Blech. I think DJ Sarah Bom dia todos. And regarding holding funds, can you accept monthly deposits and hold them until the rates are favorable or a need develops for a large single transfer? How about that, Sarah?
Yes, it's because it's the same thing. Yeah, we can. You can transfer money to us regularly, and we'll just hold it. It's the same thing. Yeah, we can hold till the rates are favourable, or you need, or it's to a certain amount, and then you're ready to move it. So yeah, that's not a problem.
Great stuff. There you go, Jeff. Good morning to you. Can you pay for government fees with a Visa debit card? You know what? In Portugal, you can pay with pretty much any kind of currency. They'll probably even take eggs and dates and stuff like figs, probably down at the local camera. But check before you leave with your livestock. My accountant only works in Texas and oh dear, okay, so that's somebody who's good on the American side, but not necessarily in Portugal. But we're still keen to get any recommendations for Portuguese accountants who know both sides of the water. Ruth Rocha, bon dia from Toronto. That's probably Toronto. Is there a recommended minimum maximum for a currency transaction? By the way, love the new hair color. That's probably you rather than me, right?
I don't know. I don't actually dye my hair, so this is as is.
It must be me then, mustn't it? Okay.
Maximum? No, there's not. There isn't. You can transfer as much as you want to, and there's no real minimums with us. We have customers that they'll do £50, and if it's just a one-off, then we don't sort of actively promote the service, just use us for one-off £50. But we have customers that are doing that because maybe they've just not sent enough money. They need to top something out. Maybe they need to pay the pool man. Whatever your need is, we can help.
Yes. That is such a good example of why we need money over here. got to pay
I'm just jealous.
Yes. Good morning from Jacqueline Branco. Good morning to you, Jacqueline. How are you? All right, Sarah, you've been amazing. Always great fun to talk to you.
Yep. And we've got a webinar as well on Thursday.
Of course we have. I'll see you again on Thursday where we'll be talking. We're going to have a deeper dive into things and probably have a few case studies. And what I'd love to do, if you're up for this, I don't know if you've had a good chat with Astrid about this yet, but a little bit of a beginner's guide to currency exchange would be awesome if you're up for that. I'm sorry to put you on the spot here right now, but I'm sure we can talk about that, can't we?
Yeah, no, definitely. No, that's perfect. We'll do that. Right.
Absolutely wonderful. Have a great day. Love to
thanks for having me. Hopefully,
and
I'll
all-
see more of you on Thursday.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
Bye.
All right, ciao. Bye for now. There she goes. Fire Davie's off, and off she goes there with a new nickname. Hold on a minute, David Durham. Just too late. Is this digital currency world? In this digital currency world, what does holding money mean? It sits in an account somewhere. Where is that? The UK. I believe it is, but join us again on Thursday, David, for that, for the webinar with Sarah Davie from Spartan FX. Spartan FX, in the UK, your pensions can be paid into your Spartan account until a favourable rate applies. How good is that as well? Paul's a very happy boy. Happy bunny, satisfied customer. Okay, while we're waiting for Fire Dave, will be joining us in just a moment to talk about financial independence and retiring early. Who doesn't want to talk about that here on Consumer Tuesday when we talk about money matters here on the Good Morning Portugal show? Before he gets here and before we look at that conference, that online conference that he's organising, let's have a look at this wonderful slideshow. Actually, before the slideshow, let me say a parabéns a você to Donna J. Donna Jacqueline here under this very roof, who's celebrating her birthday today. You might want to join me in wishing her a very happy birthday today. Okay, let's have a look at these photos, shall we? Look, I'm going to show this again. Robin Williams from yesterday, wasn't it? And that's not actually Sarah Davie from award-winning Spartan FX. Let's get that off the screen, shall we? Jim McDonald. Yesterday, we told the story of Jim when he met Robin Williams there. So let's have a look at these wonderful photos from Coimbra. And I'm going to need some help here. Thank you so much, Jersey and Mr. and Mrs. P, for your wonderful photos that you've sent me from your visit, well, this part of your journey through Portugal when you're in Coimbra. That's clearly a fado concert, isn't it? In beautiful surroundings there in Coimbra, the academic heart of Portugal. Don't let anyone tell you anything other than that. And a view over the river there, over the Mondego River, probably from your accommodation. And that would be a lovely recommendation, wouldn't it? Where exactly were you staying there, Mr. and Mrs. P? And then this is over towards the academic end of town, isn't it? By the university and the botanical gardens. A rather marvellous, that's probably an aqueduct, isn't it? Feeding the town, fresh water, and an amazing bit of architecture with the tram lines threaded through it. And very near, as I said, the beautiful botanical gardens. That's well worth a visit. Pop that on your list. A nighttime view there. That's probably near the university as well, isn't it? There in Coimbra. And downtown now. We go downtown. I love the lighting on these photos. Isn't that great? A beautiful street scene there. We have some more of those, but we've got another view here across the city. A Bougainvillea. Is that right? A Bougainvillea to the right there. Beautiful Coimbra. Love Coimbra. Look at that light. Absolutely fantastic. Fire Dave's in the green room. We'll be with him in just a moment. A shop interior here. Those are called trompe l'oeil, aren't they? How are those books defying gravity like that? Must be a mural, I think, in a notable bookshop there in Coimbra. Or is it a sardine shop? It's one or the other, I think. But what an incredible mural on the wall and ceiling there. And look at this. Beautiful. I suspect that's Mrs. P there. And this incredible slice of a building downtown Coimbra as you go up and around the windy steps there, the calçada. Look how polished they are after years of shoe leather on them, and beautifully lit again in Coimbra there, having a nice night out in Coimbra, and that wonderful triangular building just sat there on the Coimbra hillside. Finally then, for Coimbra, academia again, I guess, the academic part of town. Isn't that beautiful? This is what you can enjoy in Coimbra, folks. And then they left Coimbra to go south. And look at where they are. We've mentioned Tiago quite a few times, right? Tiago Zeferino. That's his menu. And here's one of his dishes. My mouth is watering already. I think there's some little squid there. Loving that. Thank you so much. Oh, and while I'm with the pictures, cheers, Jersey. Thank you so much for sending the pictures. And I'm so pleased you had a great time with Tiago. Looks like he was quite busy that day, judging by the gentleman's legs in the background of the picture there. And this morning, I was up early this morning. Tuesday's the day I get up very early to talk to the Expats Portugal plan people, Australia, Dubai, people who are focusing their plans to come to Portugal, who we run a course for. And afterwards, I went out for a walk with the dogs to see the sun rising on the Caldash Hills there. Just an extra picture for you. Hope you're enjoying that. Fire Dave's here, everybody, limbering up and getting ready to tell us about financial independence and retiring early. Here he is now, returning to our screens. Fire Dave, how are you?
Morning, Carl. How are you doing? Bon dia.
Bon dia to you, my friend. How's things?
Good. Not too bad. Thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it. But before we start, could I just say to fire Sarah Davie that the name is very similar. And yeah, if she ever wants to link up online and do something, then Fire Dave and Sarah Davie would sounds pretty good together, you know?
I've given her that name already now, Fire Davie and Fire Dave. That's an incredible coincidence this morning. I mean, you should talk, definitely. You know, they're in the currency exchange business. They're going to save your people a few quid. And that's the idea, isn't it? When I say your people, these are the people who are amassing a fortune big enough to retire early upon. This is a philosophy, I think, that is sweeping the world at the moment. People have had enough, haven't they, of the 40-year plan of getting up and working from 9 to 5 for 40 years. It's something that's not going to exist as we've known it for very much longer anyway, in such a changing and turbulent world. And some people are going proactive on this, right? And doing the thing, doing the financial independence, retiring early. Can you tell us a bit more about this movement and the principles thereof?
100%, Carl. And yeah, appreciate that. I mean, look, you've hit the nail on the head. And I was going through the notes when we were on last. It was the 16th of March 21. Things are looking a bit better now, but look, the movement is more alive than it was. It's the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. I suppose, look, what is it really? I'm going to give the definition this time. So the definition of FIRE, as it's known as, which originated, I suppose, in the US originally. Basically, it's a simple case of when your passive income, your income covers your expenses, and you no longer need to exchange your time for money. And that's essentially what FIRE is. So FIRE by definition, Cole, is super easy on paper. But the fact that we are human beings, and by definition, we are not perfect, we fuck it up, basically. We mess it up. And
we are not perfect. That's news to me. What? Yeah, we're not perfect.
No, we're not. And I'll be the first to put my hand up. And that's really where Fire Dave comes in. And, you know, otherwise everyone would be doing it. We are humans and, you know, we've got life and we've got pandemics, coronavirus and things that hit us that are unexpected. So, yeah, it's a lifestyle movement. It's a way of living life by design and maybe becoming curious about things, asking questions but essentially on paper it's just a financial thing that basically enables people, your people, my people, everybody to buy time back and maybe come to the understanding that the old way of working, the industrial way of working, the 9 to 5, and the company will look after you until the golden years where you live them out. Maybe the world has moved on from that now, and even look in the last 12 months, how many people are working remotely and no longer need to commute to work, and people are working nomadically in different countries, lower cost of living. So for me, FIRE is really, you know, I wanted to come with that definition this morning. At its core, it's essentially when passive income covers your expenses and you no longer need to exchange your time for money. And the RE part, the retirement part, is optional, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's a change in consciousness as well, isn't it? Is that people don't really want to retire. They want a lifestyle that means they're not looking forward to stopping. They want a lifestyle now that you know, why would you want to retire if you love your life? So I think that will change as well over time, won't it? Is that you create a life you love now such that you're not looking forward to getting out of it later on, which was the original plan. But I think, you know, so much of this is upside down. And I think you made the point there that the pandemic has really accelerated this movement, right? Or changed people's consciousness around this.
No, 100%. And I think, I don't know what the temperature is in the Algarve right now, but you might do a month of lying down on the beach and then it's like, well, what are we going to get on and do? You know, so I think a lot of people coming in are running away from something. Maybe initially it might be that 9 to 5 or something that you know, and the curiosity kicks in. But really, you know, the pandemic has kicked in, and really I like to divide FIRE up into kind of 4 main categories. So you have kind of the health category, which is intertwined. Obviously the wealth, which is the financial side. So get your money right, and then you buy the time back to look at other things. Obviously relationships, such as me being on with Carl Munson this morning, family relationships, business, and obviously fulfillment. Like, anyone is lying if they're not saying that inside we're all searching for happiness, truly, and contentment and fulfillment. So I think when you look at it holistically and look at the whole lot, it's not just about the money. Recessions will come and go. Things will hit us in life. We won't wake up every morning feeling great. But where fire comes in, Carl, and I think you hit the nail on the head this morning, is that it does build curiosity. And for me anyway, personally, it gives me a purpose. Okay, so when you've got a clear direction, let's say fire, it might be the RE, it might just be, I don't know, you want the time to travel, or you want more time to be with the kids, whatever it is that you want to do. All of a sudden, you have a purpose in the morning. You have your why, and you're not just going week to week and going into maybe a job that's okay, but and it kind of gives you more purpose and a clear direction and perspective.
Frees you from the life of quiet desperation. Who was it who said that? But that's
the podcast of
chilling phrase, isn't it? Desperation. Nobody should have to do that, and hopefully we can all sort of ennoble ourselves and each other in this sort of process. Comments coming in, Dave. Great to have you here, and we will talk about the event that's coming up. And this, I think, in many ways, this comment applies to that. This is David being mischievous. I think all these fire people seem to have jobs talking about fire. Now, I think Dave is not looking to retire on the ticket price of this. If this was his job and this was an entrepreneurial angle, you'd want to be adding a few noughts to that price of €20, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the ticket price. If you're willing to pay €20 and go to a 4-hour event plus informal Q&A at the end, it really just gets rid of the tire kickers. And also, like if you can be bothered to put in your €20 and join the event, then we're welcome to have you there. But look, we can talk about it later. There's even a promo we can put on, which is Fire Dave BOGO, buy one get one. So if you've actually got someone who actually just can't afford to go, just buy a ticket and we'll give a free one for a friend of yours, so you can actually get a free ticket for a friend as well. This is a platform to basically, so the way Fire Day, where Fire Day was born is, I want to basically help people fire faster who are interested in the movement, and by bringing different people, the best people together in the field, to don't take my word for it, Carl. So I've got 30 interviews that I've done with people worldwide on firedave.com. And I ask people questions such as, what's the backbone of your fire strategy? So you start to realize that there's multiple ways of doing this in multiple countries, tapping into the mindset, etc. And then when you look at the event over 4 hours, we have basically, Kel Galavan on. I've got Emma Farrell. I've got Miroslav. And I've got Michael Houghton, and we can go into those speakers. So
because we got Kel Calavan, 7 Habits of Mindful Money to Supercharge Your Path to Financial Independence. What I did by learning or studying 150 plus self-help books with Miroslav. Michael's talking about, he's from the Irish Fire podcast, Early Retirement Made Possible. And Ema there, 1 foot in the save. That's great, isn't it? From swimming in debt to soaring to an early retirement. I mean, I get what David's saying, and I think he is being a bit mischievous there. What I love about the people in this movement is they are keen to share their knowledge, and you're up against conditioning as well, aren't you? If we take this question sort of a stage further, it's a bit like network marketing. A lot of people don't like talking about network marketing, do they? And there are reasons for that, but it is a challenge to people's accepted ways of thinking and their conditioning. So on the one hand, it's like, I'd like to retire early, and I'd like financial independence. Well, do you want to come to a seminar? No, it's okay. I just, I'm happy as I am, really. And it's making that step, isn't it? You've got to do some sort of kung fu on yourself and break yourself out of your way of thinking, I think. And then we go into the Stockholm syndrome, which people start defending the system, don't they? Because they don't actually want to change. Do you encounter that in people?
Yeah, no, I think you've gone really deep, and I wasn't expecting that, Carl. And I'll go wherever you want to go today with this, But fair play for actually bringing that up. And I think that the psychological aspect of it is what really, really interests me. And I always talk about the mindset side of things, and that's what on my point originally at the beginning. The math side is super easy. There's a calculator and a math side online. But the conditioning, the default program that we all have a default program. And if you don't know what it is, just sit in a quiet room for about 1 minute, and you'll start hearing it in your head. That's the inner voice, and it will tell you, and try and keep us safe and all that stuff. But we have an opportunity now. My default program and your default program will be completely different. and we all have our core belief systems, and we kind of move towards our safety and comfort zones. And then a new idea comes up like this, and you say, "Wow, retire early and break the norm," and all these kind of things. And if one person today is willing to challenge it's open their mind, whether it be Portugal, I think you mentioned New Zealand, could be Sarah Davie, Sarah Davie over in the UK, anybody in any situation, and actually think about the concept. Willing to go, like Miroslav, for example, is financially independent. He still works. You've got Emma Farrell was in the news and the media recently in the UK. You've got Kel Gallivan is, a book author, CEO of Mrs. Smart Money. And, you have Michael Houghton, the Fire podcast, and, he's a blogger as well. So, as I said, don't take my word for it. Go to the event. It's €20. Listen to people, have a look at the website, and it may plant a seed, and it may challenge an existing belief system. But, if you want to go down that road, one little tip, I suppose, and I'm not, would be to just be naive. And naive by definition as well is to be teachable and say, well, what if there's a different way? What if I've always walked this way in life and I actually just turn and walk that way? What would happen? And just listen. And that's kind of what I want to do, help people fire faster by bringing people in the community together who have done it, are working the journey, and help deliver the message and bring more people into the community.
I take my hat off to you. I think you're doing a great job with this. And I was listening to Robert Kiyosaki. Some people will know Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's an absolute classic book, isn't it? And he talks about education. And I think people have accused him of being anti-education. And it's far from it. I mean, I think he's a believer in people educating themselves and breaking out of some of their conditioning and mindset and the sort of things you mentioned before. But this sort of stuff, not only is it great that you're doing it, but I think it's excellent stuff for kids to learn about how to take responsibility and take better care of themselves. So have you got plans to take this into schools at some point? Will you be allowed?
I haven't gone down that road. I struggled to concentrate at school. That was my most that was a comment I got a lot on the books, or the journal or whatever you call it at school. Dave struggles to concentrate. I think Robert Kiyosaki talks about, you mentioned him and Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about the world and life being the real teaching ground, and that the old system. I think there's a great place for education. I think you're up against, as you said in the previous one, political and government bodies, and really they're leading the core system that we have for education. So I wouldn't try and rub friction against something that is there. I think that if people like. Not a lot of people now. There's a movement towards world schooling. There's, the world is changing basically, and fundamentally, I suppose I was in school, I was in university, but the world now has moved on. Technology is moving faster and quicker than the school can, I believe. So I think there's a place for both, Cole. It took me 10 minutes to log into this backstage studio this morning.
My kids could have shown you what to do. Okay, let's go to a few more comments. Big happy birthday to Jacqueline, sending you love and a big hug from the Casa Austin there to you, Jacqueline. Donna J. Sardine shop, that picture we showed earlier on. Let me just very quickly bring that up to put that into context. Where is that picture gone? It's a beauty. But I don't seem to. Oh, here it is. I can't lay my hands on it. Yes, I can. No, that's the Fado place. Where's the blimming? That's really weird. That seems to. Oh no, here it is. I thought it had disappeared. There's your sardine shop. That's how we sell sardines. I know this is nothing to do with retiring early, but if you do, I guess you can buy yourself as many sardines as you like in a sardine shop like that of quality in Coimbra. What else are people saying here? Jacqueline Branco, may I ask if anyone here and around Caldash and Obidosh have kitchen utensils no longer required? To please feel free to contact me. We're in need of pots and pans for those in need. Absolutely. Let that word go out and help people. If you can, please. Beautiful pictures, says Ruth Rocha. Delighted to show those. You can send them in to me anytime. Sounds like slavery was never abolished in the USA after all with FACTA. The government demands money from their serfs, even if they no longer inhabit the plantation USA. Well, interesting that fire, I think, did originate, didn't it? This idea in the United States. The IRS apparently have, if you're born in America, wherever you move in the world, you still have to report into them with your finances, don't you, every year, Fire Dave?
I'm not a US citizen, Carl, and I'm from the UK originally, so you probably answer that better than me.
Well, I think some of our folks here will do that, but it's interesting that this is what you're up against as well, isn't it? Is being canny, and this is what Robert Kiyosaki talks about: is finding ways to minimize your tax bill.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, and this may link in. Actually, I'll put this out to you, Carl, and the audience. For example, myself, originally from the UK, I'm a tax resident in Ireland. Possibly people looking to move to Portugal as an expat. I think there's a need for an international tax advisor, because you can find locally here, you have your accountant, and they're great in the field. But then what happens if somebody moves to another country, and how does the link between the two taxes work? And I think, if there's a link to international tax advisors, I'd be interested to see one myself. But I think it's having those conversations, and Robert Kiyosaki talks about, he claims to pay zero taxes anyway, so it's about, putting your best foot forward.
Again, I mean, and I know that there are people in our community here who will say not paying taxes, that's immoral. That's not to say you can't be doing good work. And I know a lot of these extremely wealthy people are very benevolent, and they choose where they want their money to go, rather than, as some others might see it being put through a system that's not very efficient in terms of the governmental taxation system. We're going into some political territory here. Let's see what people have got to say about that. It's unavoidable. A bit late at 64, says Penny, to be sorting out retiring early. Is it, though? However, any tips at all how to retire at all would be fantastic. We'll come back to that. I retired early at 53, 8 years ago. You're an inspiration, Randy, in that respect. Where are we here? We've got a lot of comments to work through. We'll come back to this age thing in a minute, though. DJ, yeah, fair enough analogy, with apologies to African Americans whose relatives really were enslaved. But yeah, history continues. Well said, Rebel Mama. Only regret not leaving the US sooner. Quite a few people seem to be in that condition. Bon dia from Antonio F. Good morning to you. Bon dia, Antonio F. Bob Wenger. Bon dia from Colorado. Missed the beginning. D7 appointment tomorrow in San Francisco. Good luck with that. Borsort. Still waiting on lodging contract, but anticipating the best. You must do that, Bob. Fingers crossed for you. Correction, pots and pans. Okay, we want pots and pans in Silver Coast area. Paul Richards. Official retirement. When that starts, the real work begins. Ask my wife. I get a list every day. Very good. Making yourself useful. Retirement is a myth. There's always work to be done. And I think you'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Dave?
I would. And it's actually very hard to do nothing. Like absolutely nothing, because, even if you try and do nothing, you're still breathing and thinking and stuff. So, I think, there's always stuff to be done. And I think, there's an argument as well, Carl, that people who are looking to retire early, and that part is optional as well for the first person who commented. I think if you free up 40 hours in your week, plus commute time, plus time that you're ironing clothes and getting ready for work and all that production related stuff that fills up the 9 to 5, and you free all that time back up for yourself, what are you going to do? What would you do with your time?
Terrifying thought. Some people, but you can adjust, and you can do good things. So whilst maybe you're not paying so much in tax, you could be starting up your sort of dream association here in Portugal, where you want to directly help people in some way and be of benefit to society in a very face-to-face sort of way with those 40 hours. That's the sort of thing that can happen, I think, here. It's so important to have a goal and have goals and make a plan. I think you'd agree with that, wouldn't you? I
would 100%, yeah. And I think I spoke about it previously. To go even one step above that is to have a clear direction, because I think that I totally agree with that, and I think that goals can change, and you may not hit a goal. And for me, anyway, personally, my family, and I must mention this before I come off the call because my wife is watching, that she is the backbone of my success. So get that in now. But, if you have a clear direction of fires your direction or health or a non-tangible thing, you can build multiple goals within that. So I think goals and direction are super key, and that links into my original comments about having purpose.
Yeah, superb. Okay, a few more comments. I know you got to go, but it'll be great to just have you for a little bit longer. Chip away at it every day. The plan, that is. David Dawson says, kudos to Fire Dave for the accessible price point for the introduction to the movement versus the price gouging I've seen elsewhere, which is contrary to the movement. Absolutely right. We wouldn't have Dave on here if he was a chancer exploiting people, obviously. I'm just trying to encourage the fire community to actually retire, says David. Fair point. Time, money. You can always make more money. You can never make more time. Wow, that's a poignant thing, isn't it?
Yeah, time is your biggest asset, definitely, you know.
Yeah, link is in there if you want to click through to that. Use that link. So truth, Underduck from Paul Richards, Rebel Mama, good for you, Dave. Fire Dave, so important to break free of that 9 to 5 50-year work myth. I tell young people all the time to quit as soon as they can to find an alternative. I'm kind of joking, says David. Even in retirement, we need things to do. It's human nature. I really admire the financially independent part. The retirement part, not as much. Francis, very interested in the fire principle. We've lived hand to mouth for most of our lives, working to survive, hoping to achieve the American dream in South Africa. It's not the way to do it. The American dream, apparently, there. Thank you for that, Francis. The wealthy will then pay tax as they have more money to spend, and this will also incentivize people to earn more money as well. Will not be stolen from them at source. A libertarian point there from DJ, as we might expect. Good morning, people. When I retire, I'll have more time to spend in the garden. He's a professional gardener. What does that mean there? One retirement for. I'm not sure what that means. We have a D7 appointment in DC tomorrow. Good luck, Jim, with that. Fantastic. Charity is a cold, grey, loveless thing. If a rich man wants to help the poor, he should pay his taxes gladly, not dole out money at a whim. Well, another look at it from another angle from Clement Attlee there. Thank you for that midlife crisis world tour. I think that's a nuanced debate we could have, but probably not right now. Retirement for me means, here we go, spending my time doing what I want to do, not what I have to do. Okay, correct. So let's come back to Penny on there. Is it too late ever to retire, Dave? Nobody here has said, look, I'm 95 and I'm getting a bit worried about this. I think Penny's all right, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was the original question, and Penny's asking the same. Retirement for me means spending my time doing what I want, not what I have to do. And I think that's the key. At the end of the day, RE is optional. If you love what you do, and there are people that actually really love their job, they spring out of bed and can't wait to get to work. A few of them, and if you're one of them, then keep going. If you, and fair play, genuinely, tongue in cheek. But I don't think it's ever too late. And I think that, the other thing is, if you look at it as well, believe it or not, let's just take the pandemic out for a minute. In terms of actual lifespan and technology, people are living longer. There's a movement towards the blue zones, which I study as well. I've got a link in my book section. I've got Robert Kiyosaki up there as well. So, Hold
on, what are blue zones? What does that mean?
It's blue zones. There's 5 places in the world where people have the most number of centurions, people who live to be over 100 years of age.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So like you will, Carl. So and me,
looking good, eh?
Yeah. So we tap into the health side and we look at all that, and you realise that 65 is the new 20.
Absolutely right. That's right. He knows me so well. Okay, so that's a great sentiment, Penny, and that can, the plan to do that starts now, doesn't it? It's a bit like planting trees. What's the best time to plant a tree? Yesterday, but all we have is now, and we should make the most of it. And I would put that in. Let's work together to make that happen, Penny. I'd be absolutely delighted. I'm 42. Never plan to stop working. Just be able to make my movies I love and take photos for fun. Inspire rather than sell. Great sentiment, Francis. Thank you for that. Retirement is not boring. I watch Good Morning Portugal. There you go. There's an hour or two of your day. Never retire. I like this as well. Work till you drop. Absolutely right. Retirement, as we know it, these people when was the last time you met somebody on a full pension, looking forward to just playing golf every day? That's going to be a mythical and weird thing for young people soon, isn't it? Yeah,
I think that's the point, and I think initially it can be a driving force to get in, but retirement or early retirement or just financial independence, or even working part-time or setting up a business or being flexible in what you do. It's about, at the core, I believe it's about lifestyle designing the life that you want to live, and getting on and doing what you actually enjoy and want to do. And the work part is optional. So it's really up to, goals are fine, but go to your direction, and looking at the value list of what people actually value. It's actually quite hard to know what you want to do. I think sometimes the fire part and getting the numbers right and getting your money right and investing, whether it be real estate or some people are in cryptocurrency, I won't comment on that, or it could be the stock market or business. that part can be quite fun and quite interesting, and there's a period of time that it takes to do it. But you've got to, I think, be keyed into the later part, the FI and the RE part, and a lot of people, and you touched on this today, Carl, that accumulate wealth, or you talked about some of the 1%ers such as Robert Kiyosaki and and Jeff Bezos and all those different people, and you look at them and they could have retired a long time ago, but they don't. They keep going. So if we just blend a little bit of that and our current lifestyle and just for me anyway, day to day, Carl, it's just about being grateful. Especially in recent years, just having daily gratitude for what we have and stop thinking about what we don't have or what we should have. I think that plays in a lot,
Yeah, and that therein lies your holistic awareness of this. I think what you said before about fulfillment. Ultimately, everyone realizes the fulfillment is the important thing, right? Because and it's difficult, I think, for those of us lucky enough to have had enough money to realize it doesn't bring you happiness. And that's not where everyone's at in the world. But for those who are, it's true, don't you? I mean, it doesn't take that much for you to realize that money doesn't bring you happiness either. But it's almost like an obstacle over which human beings have to go over in order to realize it. No one's going to take your word for it, are they? You kind of have to experience that lack of fulfillment to then think, well, okay, it's not the money that's doing it. It might be what the money gives me access to, perhaps. I don't know what you'd add there.
No, I would agree. And I think that there's also saying, money doesn't make you happy, but it does make life easy. And, it buys time, and time is your asset. You can't, there's 24 hours in a day. You can't say, right, I'm going to use 22 today. I'm going to bank 2, move them over to tomorrow and have 26. The time is finite. You can multiply time. You can and you can allocate your time well, but you can't bank it for the future. But money, you can get your money right, and you can free up your time to get on and do that stuff. But there is actually a relational curve that shows that money does increase happiness to a certain level. And then it's really minute after that amount. Really, then you're just getting on and doing stuff. And there's something to be said. If I was in Portugal now, I might go for a walk on the beach. It doesn't actually cost anything. But you could just, a lot of the things that make you happy don't actually cost money. You just need the time to do them.
And it probably is nicer, if you are unhappy, it's probably nicer to be crying inside a BMW than on a bicycle, right? Maybe. I
heard that the other day. Fair play. Yeah.
Okay. Stephen Wells from Tim Ferriss. There's somebody who knows about lifestyle design. His books are worth having a look at as well, aren't they? Mini retirements all the time for me. It's one foot in the working world, the other in the forest and nature. What a fabulous balance there, Stephen. Yeah. And I guess you would advise against Fire Dave putting your eggs in the future basket of like, I'm working really hard now. I haven't got time to enjoy my life because I'm trying to retire early later. You've got the balance wrong if you're doing that, right? Like you say, gratitude, fulfillment in this moment whilst working towards that goal, right?
Yeah, I think you've got to build the abundance mindset today, and you've got to, if the money's not there, or in my situation, you're actually in debt when you start off, you've got to get wealthy here first, and you've got to build an abundance mindset. It's a repetition of, I value this, I'm grateful for, and because as I said, otherwise, if you grind it out for 20 years or 30 years for this, day when everything's going to be perfect, and you turn around and as you said, you hit it. You could turn around and have 30 years of what ifs, or what if I actually just enjoyed my life as I went along? What if I enjoyed the journey? Or, so I think it's, and also I think balance is a word that's used mostly in the 9 to 5 about having a work-life balance. Well, what is a work-life balance? I think at the end of the day, go back to the 4 pillars: fulfillment, finance, wealth, relationships. That could be family, friends, and health and fulfillment. Right, the 4 of them. Well, I think that you're always in one more than the other. You're never completely balanced in all of them. So things can come up in family life that you need to attend and give a lot of focus to. Then you may go and work harder on, your side hustle or your job, and then your health it needs to be worked on. So I think balance is more of a 9 to 5 thing that people talk about. Really, I think it's just about constantly trying to get back to that, like a homeostasis, that we are constantly trying to get back to that central point, and it's about just going into that area. And I don't draw the time, but I think it's about working through all of them all the time. Enjoy it as you go along.
Terrific, great sentiment to end on there. Always a lot of fun to have you on the show. Looking forward to your next appearance already, Dave. This is the event, and the link is inside the comments there. Use that to go through. We've got a bit of a referral thing on there. We're probably going to get a massive cut of that €20, enough to retire on for me there, possibly, Dave.
Absolutely.
But there it is, coming up in September. Fire Dave, you are a legend, and it's been great fun talking to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Until next time, Carl. Appreciate it.
Right,
ciao. Obrigado.
All the best with the event. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
There he goes. Okay, we have got looking forward to moving to Portugal this winter and living our dreams as they are at the moment. We aren't running from somewhere or something, but we want to expand on how much time we have with taking early retirement and part self-sufficiency whilst experiencing a new land and life. That's absolutely wonderful. Loads of photos coming in. I don't think I'm going to have time to show them all today. We'll carry those over till tomorrow. Important to enjoy the ride, says Thunder Duck. That's a really good sentiment to be sharing there. Info on tonight's spiritual session with Louisa. I look forward to those every night, Jim. I'm lucky enough to have a spiritual session with. Anyway, Beverly Mavement. Our current life is amazing on a fantastic Scottish island, but we want to see and experience more of the world. Brilliant. Not running from, but expanding, I think. Life isn't about the destination, it's the journey. Fantastic. Serious question. Does a seminar help someone who doesn't have a high-paying skill? If it's about gaining wealth, that might be depressing for someone unable to do that. You'll have to take that to Fire Dave, I think, and ask him about that. I suspect... what's the challenge there? If it's about, would it be depressing? I would think not. I would hope, and I suspect it will be enriching and enlightening as an option. And that's for that person to decide, isn't it, for themselves already? How can we second guess how somebody else might react? But we can certainly be around there to clear up the mess if there is any. Okay, quickly then, we're going to talk to Mrs. M, because I think busy mum Mrs. M is going to be joining us very briefly. And before we go off and celebrate Donna J's birthday with her. But we had an Insta story. I don't usually share these, but this one's worth doing. This came from the doc, who joins me from time to time on the Ask Anything About Portugal sessions, and more messages and photos coming in. We'd like to invite you to our Saturday breakfast on the Lagoa Beach. Is this in the Caribbean? No, it's in Nazaré, near Nazaré, I believe. Our picnic will be vegan, organic, and full of delicious and fresh produce. Only 3 tables available like that. Look how much food there is on. That's a proper Portuguese picnic on there. 3 tables available, so be quick for the booking. For the details, send us a DM. So more about these. Let's press the play button and see what happens here, shall we? I wonder if there's any sound on it. No. But that should... Oh, look at that. These three tables are waiting for you. Report inappropriate? No, it's thoroughly appropriate. I'll have some of that. Look at that. This is Nazaré, is it, Doc? Thank you for sending this through. Absolutely beautiful. Breakfast on the beach, just a little bite. So just a little _bite is what you need to take advantage of that wonderful offer of a vegan brekkie on the beach there near Nazaré. If I put, she's not there, is she? Look, she's just her halo is on the screen at the moment. So I'm not sure what's happening with Mrs. M, but I'll tell you what, I can't see the beach pics at all, she says. I hope everybody else saw those, but Mrs. M not coming through very well. We'll come back to her. This is what I'm going to share with you now. This is what we've got tonight. 11 o'clock, me and Mrs. M pretty much closet New Agers until now. We're out of the closet tonight at 11 o'clock. Jim, this is for you. Hold on a minute. Here we go. This is what we've got tonight. Spiritual Portugal. She looks like she just stepped out of the shower. She's coming to the studio now. Spiritual Portugal starts at 11 o'clock this evening, and we'll be talking about all things Portugal with all things spiritual with Portugal as the epicenter. So we had a little pilot episode, which a few of you were at on Sunday evening, and we're looking forward to a lot more fun with that this evening. Do join us if you're of an expanded mindset, if you approach life from not only the point of view of the body and the mind, but with a spiritual aspect too. All are welcome, and we'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock. One last chance, Mrs. Emma, you joining me or not? It's still just her halo on the screen there. So join us tonight if you want to see her. It's a bit of a teaser, I think. She'll be around at 11 o'clock this evening for our first official episode of Spiritual Portugal. So
I've been waiting backstage.
Tell them yourself. She's been waiting backstage. If I click on your button there, you are not backstage. You're, like I say,
That's
halo.
Weird.
Your halo is just spinning there.
It says on there.
No, you're not. But you are here now. What do you want to tell the folks about tonight?
I don't know now because I just
You're
rushed
flustered,
from.
aren't you?
Yeah,
She's all flustered.
I am all
everybody.
flustered. Just to join us if you want to share in some love and some light and
What?
yeah,
Okay.
just share a nice vibe. I mean, the whole It's our first show about like what is spirituality, or is it kind of a getting to know what we're doing?
Yeah, a launch episode. So we'll be finding out about people's various approaches. It's an open door, an open house approach, and probably the recreation of a kind of summer of love vibe that I think Mrs. M was alluding to there. And for anyone who was actually at Woodstock, we'd love to hear from you so that we're getting those nuances right, because I just missed it. Believe it or not, she certainly missed it.
I definitely missed it.
4 years later. Okay, I think we're going to have to leave it there for this morning.
Oh, I was going to say,
go on.
Send in photos or some descriptions of what you think spirituality is for you, and then we
send in photos of yourself being spiritual.
Or things that like really resonate, or a short video about what spirituality is to you.
A joss stick, that sort of thing.
Who knows? Doing a
send in a picture of yourself pulling off a very tricky asana. Whilst lighting a joss stick in your cheesecloth shirt and loon pants. Okay, so we'll see you tonight. You get the gist. It's going to be spiritual, but it's not going to be too serious.
No, it's going to be fun, isn't it?
All right, Jim will be there. Will do, he says. And Rebel Mama. Oh, hope I'm up at 11. Is it here on this channel? It is not on this channel. It's a spin-off. It is on the Spiritual Portugal channel later on. But friend me up on Facebook and we'll point you in the right direction. Okay, folks, it's been a good one. Take care and bye for now. Ciao, ciao.